cancel it, I guess, right?
Well,
or that was the Foxhole one.
That was the Foxhole one.
This Amateur Radio Roundtable is brought to you in part by ICOM America.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Amateur Radio Roundtable. Today is Tuesday, July 2nd, 2019, and we're almost to Independence Day. I'm Katie Allen, WI7YL, here in Sundance, Wyoming, and I'd like to welcome everyone who's watching us live tonight, or if you're watching us on the replay on YouTube. We really appreciate your participation and hope you enjoy hanging out with us. If you are here live watching, feel free to join into the chat room. We've got a ton of people in there right now. We talk about the show as it's going, as well as other topics, usually ham related. Sometimes we're talking about cats like tonight. You just never know, but we have a lot of great fun together. And also on our Facebook group, if you haven't already joined our Facebook group, we'd invite you to come along and join the fun over there. If you just search w5kub.com on the groups in the search engine on Facebook, you'll find our group. We're got a good 7,000 people in there at least right now, and a lot of our fellow co-hosts have joined in, and we're sharing the love with a lot of the other ham podcasts out there, and just trying to get the word out and enjoy ham radio together in many different ways. So tonight we've got some fun topics. Tonight we're going to be talking about the shortwave station, and we've got Alan with us tonight, and I believe Dave's in the chat room, and Tom's with me, and I think William's going to be here in a little bit, NE4RD, to talk about the Boy Scout Jamboree. So we've got some really good stuff coming up tonight, and really appreciate you guys joining us. And with that, let's turn it over to the boss, Tom, W5KUB. Hi, Tom. How are you tonight?
Well, hello, Katie. And nothing seems to be working right tonight. I don't know what's going on, man. Probably that big, powerful shortwave station up in Maine is sucking out all the electrons or something. I don't know what's going on. Usually it works much better than this. But hey guys, Katie did a great job. You know, she says turn over the boss. Katie is now the boss of the show. I just promoted her to the boss. I'm gonna start taking some time off. So I've got a lot of emails and a lot of Facebook things anyway requesting me to do that. So Katie, you're now the boss, and I'm leaving. Okay?
Not a chance, bud.
All right.
Nice try.
All right. Well, listen, we're gonna get started here. It's been a tough night. Skype did a number on us again. I tested it. It worked all day today. It worked great. And come showtime, it just lets me down. Dave Kassler is in the chat room. Sorry, Dave. I'll try to bring you in a little while, maybe for the next segment, and you can join us. But for right now, we're going to leave you kind of on the side there. So tonight, we've got a very special guest. He is a radio engineer, and some of you may know him from the early days of Radio New York International. Now, if you don't know what that is, we'll talk a little about that in a few minutes. But today, he's the owner of a number of licensed, FCC licensed radio stations, and he's a big advocate of free speech. And this guy, he's done just about everything, let me tell you. He's been in Rolling Stone magazine. He's been on the Howard Stern show. He's been seen on nearly every national news outlet in the country, every network. He's an author. He wrote a book called Accessing the Airwaves. He is now built and is testing, I'm guessing, the most powerful shortwave station on the planet. So I'd like to introduce you to you, Alan Weiner. He is the owner of WBCQ, The Planet, and with him is Angela. Hi guys, how you doing?
Hey, how are you, Tom?
Hi, very well, thank you.
I'm doing good, and we have to tell the people out there that they're not going to get to see you or Angela tonight because you have internet issues on bandwidth. So, but I've got pictures, so we're going to do your audio and we're going to do some pictures, okay?
That's good. That sounds good.
And let me. I should have went to this background here. I should have come up here and visited with you. Now I don't know where you guys live at, but this kind of looks like the North Pole to me.
Yeah, that's just about what it is.
That looks kind of like the North Pole, and I tell you, it looks like you're sending a little let down here to us. I just aimed the camera here at the window. But anyway, we'll come back inside here where it's warm, and let's talk a little about you and all the things going on there at WBCQ. This is so exciting. I mean, I think we could talk hours, but we're going to keep it short tonight and have fun, I think. Now, I don't know where to start. Let's start, hey, Alan, let's start when you were a teenager. When you were a teenager. And let me see if hey, Katie, I'm going to get you in here with me. Hang on, Katie. Let's see if I can do it. Katie, let's see if I can do it. So people don't want to just look at me. Let's see. I'm trying to move it.
There you go with the close-ups again.
Yeah, you can move over a little bit, Katie. You can move over a little bit to your right, maybe.
I don't know. Okay.
Well, that's not very good. That looks terrible. Okay, we're going to go with this. Oh, wait a minute. We'll go with this. That's a little better anyway. Okay. Hey, Alan, sorry about that. Alan, let's talk about, man, when you were a teenager, did you get in a lot of trouble?
Well, I've been doing radio broadcasting now for 45, actually going on 50 years. And my start was building free radio stations when I was in high school to get young people like myself on the air to talk about the atrocities going on with the war in Vietnam and the government military industrial complex and all such stuff like that. And since getting a licensed radio station in the New York City area for a 16, 17-year-old person is near impossible unless you had $20 million. The best thing that we did is find some unused frequencies above the AM broadcast band and below the FM broadcast band, and build our transmitters and antennas and go on the air. And that's just what we did. And that's how it started.
Well, I've been reading up on you and checking out, all the YouTube videos. It looked like you were really involved there as a teenager, man. You had stations on. You had friends that had stations on. You guys kind of alternated back and forth. But I think at one time you even put a TV station on, didn't you?
Yes, we had pirate television in New York on Channel 6.
Oh, yeah, man,
we did.
Channel
we
6.
And that was back in 1970, when equipment was very difficult to get a hold of, and you basically had to build just about everything that you needed. But that was the start of free speech radio, which has led up to everything that's going on today in the great state of Maine, up north in Monticello, Maine, with the world's superstation.
Well, that's cool. Now, you got in a little trouble, I think, when you were a teenager. And let me just say this first of all. I don't think you condone people doing illegal stations, do you? I mean, I think I've heard you say before, you really shouldn't try that. Just get on a station like yours,
No, I don't. I mean, we did, in our younger days, we did what I would categorize as a civil disobedience, because there was no way to get access to the airwaves unless you were very, 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 very wealthy.
Yeah.
And it was different. We're talking the 1960s to 1970s. There are lots more opportunities now, but I was always looking for a legal avenue to get on the air, and I did find a legal avenue to get on the air in the New York City area back in the mid-1980s by putting a radio ship off the coast of Long Island, New York, known as Radio New York International. And we broadcasted for about 4 or 5 days on AM, FM, shortwave, and longwave to the East Coast of the United States. And that to me was a completely legal situation. We were not violating any laws. We were in international territory on a ship registered to the nation of Honduras with licensed transmitters and licensed equipment. And we were abruptly bashed off the air by the United States government because they have the guns and they have the money. And that's what they do.
Now, Alan, I'm showing a picture. Is this the ship you're talking about?
Yes, that is our radio ship.
That's a pretty good sized ship. But hey, before we go there, and we'll come back this a minute though, your father was an attorney, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Now,
Dad, yes.
I know that in your little pirate days there in New York, you know, didn't the FCC knock on you and come down in a basement one time?
Well, that was our basement operation back in 1970, 1971. Yeah, we got busted
Now,
for operating our AM and FM stations out of Yonkers, New York, and they arrested us on a hot August day, actually August 12th, 1971, at 5:30 in the morning. Why they do this at 5:30 in the morning, I still can't figure it out.
Now, was that during Radio New York International on the ship, or
No.
back? That was
That was back during the Falling Star radio days.
that was in the basement.
That was in the basement of my dad's house and my friend J.P. Ferraro in the basement of his house.
Now, your dad's an attorney. I mean, couldn't he just have helped you there and told the guys not to take you?
Well, you know.
How did he handle it? How did he handle it? Did he say, "Son, you're in big trouble when you get back home"? Did he say that?
Well, Dad was cool about it. He kind of tolerated it because he understood that we were, you know, doing a free speech civil disobedience, and he distanced himself from it. But he was cool about it. You know, he was concerned. And he was very loving and very understanding about it, and very, very supportive. Of course, I don't think he 100% agreed with what we were doing, but he certainly understood the frustration of getting access to the airwaves back then, especially in the New York City area, when all the media back then was, you know, pretty tightly controlled by, it's kind of a cliche, but it really was true, by a lot of wealth and power.
Well, it takes a lot of money to put a radio station on, but I know over the years you've been very instrumental in doing it at a quite reduced cost.
Well,
over the years.
We eventually, after the radio ship project, we pursued getting fully licensed for international shortwave.
Uh-huh.
I figured in my mind the best way to reach people all over the world with free speech radio is via shortwave, because it's a wonderful medium. You just need a simple shortwave radio. There's no passwords. There's no internet required, no infrastructure required. You just need a simple radio. The NSA, Google, and all these other horrible organizations can't track what you're doing, so it's a very private thing, you know, one-to-one. And that's what I decided to pursue. And it took 13 years to finally convince the FCC to give me a license to operate international shortwave broadcasting stations, because they thought I was Captain Hook and probably shouldn't have one. But eventually they realized that I'm an American citizen and I have rights to broadcast free speech radio out of this great republic.
So Alan, let's do this, and we do want to get into the recent stuff, the new superstation. I want to get in that, but we've got so many new people. I mean, you know, you and I are getting old, Alan. You know, I mean, We got so many new people.
No, wait a minute. Older.
Older. We're getting older, man. A lot of people don't realize what happened back then and where you came from. And I'll tell you, you were one tough cookie. I couldn't have done that. I'll just, hey, 15-second blurb. In college, I built a AM station. We called it KRUD, crud, and it sounded like that. It lasted about a day or two. We've got another guy on our chat room here that's watching. He had a pirate station out west, and he was actually selling advertisement on it when the FCC shut him down. Anyway, hey, I want to show the people how tough and how the FCC really came down on you guys, and you really got a lot of publicity. I've got about a little 2-minute clip here from various newscasts. I want them to see that, and then from there we'll start moving into the new transmitter and the superstation. So stand by, let me run this a second. We'll be right back. And why isn't it running?
The freighter was towed to Staten Island and the 3 men turned over to the U.S. Marshal's office. Penalties for an FCC violation can be stiff, up to $100,000 per incident.
Channel 4 water bill.
4 miles off the coast of Manhattan. Weiner and another man have now been charged with illegally broadcasting rock and roll music and peace chatter on unassigned AM and FM radio frequencies into New York City. Weiner claims they were in international waters, but the Coast Guard and the FCC boarded the ship and shut him down.
And this time it could mean a jail sentence. Sarah Coddington has the details.
The FCC calls them pirate radio stations. Announcers broadcast illegally on frequencies to which they are not assigned. Transmitting from this ship 4 miles off the New York coast without a license, Radio New York International didn't rock on the airwaves for long. Today, several announcers, including Monticello resident Alan Weiner, were arrested and charged with violating an International Telecommunications Convention treaty. This Honduran registered ship has been transmitting since last week. Weiner says it's cheaper than regular land-based radio stations. But even so-called freeform broadcasting could cost Weiner a pretty penny. If convicted of violating the international treaty, he could face up to 5 years in jail and/or a $250,000 fine. Sarah Coddington, Channel 8 News.
Of radio programs. NBC's Richard Valeriani has more tonight.
You're listening to Radio New York International. Well, I'm Ivan Jeffries.
And I am Randy Steele. I'm the guy who they're going to come after all of this.
Radio New York International is off the air. For the past 6 nights, the unlicensed station had been broadcasting a mix of rock and roll and chatter about peace, love, and understanding on unassigned AM and FM frequencies in the New York area. I was set up on a rust bucket for Honduran registry and anchored 4.5 miles south of Manhattan. It was conceived by a group of gadfly radio enthusiasts as a protest against FCC regulations requiring station guidelines for what disc jockeys can say. Today, Weiner and disc jockey Ivan Jeffries were arrested by FCC and Coast Guard officials who boarded the ship and seized it. The 2 men were charged with operating a radio station without a license. If convicted, they will face a maximum sentence of 5 years in jail and/or a $250,000 fine.
What we have here, though, is a very deliberate attempt to test the authority of the Commission.
As short-lived as it was, RNI apparently did make history. An FCC official said this was the first time a station without a license had ever broadcast into the United States from a ship offshore. Richard Valeriani, NBC News, New York.
Station off New York.
And RNI, and here are the Beatles, the original.
An unlicensed rock and roll station calling itself Radio New York International.
Here we go. Well, you guys can kind of get the gist of that. We ran just a few of the clips that were on the news. Alan, man, did you feel threatened back then? Were you worried?
It was a long time ago, but it was a character building experience. I mean, we just were trying to bring free speech radio to the airwaves in the New York City and other areas, because we had shortwave on the ship also.
Yeah.
So we were just trying to do that, and obviously Plan A was not going to really work. So we went to Plan B, which now has led to good old WBCQ International Shortwave, which is what we're doing now. And we're trying to change the world for the better and promote free speech radio throughout the world. And we are now completing and testing the one of the world's most powerful international shortwave stations, which, by the way, we are being simulcasted on right now on 9330 kilohertz at 500,000 watts of radio power.
Okay, well, let's have some of our viewers right now, guys. If you go to your radio and put it on 9330 right now, and let's get a signal report. 9330, Alan says we're on 9330, the superstation right now. Alan, I did listen to it earlier this afternoon, and it was about 40 over S9 here in Memphis. Great signal in here on 9330. So let's get some signal reports, and let's talk a little about. Let's see, I've got a few pictures here. First of all, this antenna amazes me. I mean, look at the size of this thing, guys. That's a bucket there and some people in it going up there to work on this thing. I mean, now, Alan, I've been in radio 55, 60 years, both professionally and hobby, and I've never really seen an antenna like this, man.
Well, it's an Ampagon designed in Switzerland. It's an Ampagon 4.4 antenna. It's what is known as a dipole curtain array. And it has 16 dipoles stacked 4 up by 4 sides, and it has a curtain on it, a copper reflector screen. It weighs 200 tons, and the fascinating thing about this antenna is it's completely rotatable. It can rotate 360 degrees, and the dipoles are switchable. So we can rotate the antenna and beam a shortwave signal into any place on Earth, including Kim Jong-un's toaster, if we so desire.
Wow.
And that's what we have built in Monticello, Maine, as a beacon of free speech. The primary client is World's Last Chance Ministries, which is a Christian organization that will be doing religious and Bible teaching throughout the world, and also for the use of WBCQ to promote shortwave, goodwill, and free speech throughout the world. And the facility is also available to our great nation here, the United States, to use in case of national emergency, because this station, we've been testing it for about 3 weeks. Well, Angela, it goes everywhere, right?
Everywhere, whether it's pointing in the right direction or not.
I mean, people pick it up from Antarctica to the North Pole, just about, and every place in between. New Zealand, well, and, you know, I mean, China, Japan. I mean, we've been getting reception reports from all points of the Earth, regardless of where the antenna is pointed, and that's probably due to the fact that if you stick 500,000 watts into a beautifully designed antenna that, you know, basically projects it into the ionosphere like a huge radio searchlight, it's going to go places, and it's exceeding all of our expectations, and it's really doing a great job, and it's going to go online full time next week with all types of interesting programs, and the main reason that this station, this great, you know, shortwave station, was built is to promote the word of our Father and Lord, and also to promote free speech throughout this world.
Well, I tell you what, we're getting a lot of reports coming in right now. Things like 25 over in Michigan, 40 over in Tennessee, 20 over in Ohio, 50 plus over in Texas, 20 over in Nebraska, 50 over in East Tennessee, 20 over Missouri, 50 over in Oklahoma. Syracuse only got an S9. I guess you're just tearing it up through the ground wave right there, man.
Oh, no, you know, Tom, we've been getting amazing reports. We've been getting reports from people in China and Saudi Arabia, They're picking the station up on those bubble pack, $15, $20 radios, without the whip antenna extended. And by the way, I'll give you a little tip. We're still testing, so we're not at full power yet. Okay?
Yeah.
We're not at full power yet. We're close, but we're not at full power because we're still at testing mode.
I tell you.
We're slowly bringing it up.
Amazing. Amazing. And I've never seen a watt meter like this, man. Look at this watt meter, guys.
Yeah, that was when we were first. That was at Carrier when we were first testing the antenna. Yeah. We were up to 550,000 watts feeding the massive array without modulation.
Yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad. My little watt meter here only goes up to 2K, man. I mean, wow.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
Yeah, there was some grinning. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, Alan. And I know many broadcast stations, the antenna is quite a distance from their studio or the transmitter site, and it looks like this is quite a distance. That could be maybe a quarter of a mile or something there.
It's
I think you've got.
Feet.
How far is it?
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet. So okay, that's a fifth of a mile. And you've got, I think, 8-inch feed line there. It's not open feed line.
It's 9-inch copper, solid, rigid transmission line.
That is cool. That's cool. No more. I guess. Is that a 50 ohm antenna? I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's matched to 50 ohm. Inside the antenna tubular section, which is the base of the antenna, is all the slip rings and rotary joints and balun and matching sections to bring it up to the dipole, because we have to go from balanced to unbalanced.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question. Has Timtron actually hooked a ham radio on the end of that feed line yet and used that antenna?
He's hooked a lot of things up to it, but not quite yet. He hasn't got in there quite yet to do that.
Well, hey, I'm gonna come up here Sunday and visit. I'm gonna bring my radio, and if y'all can find a few minutes to take it off the air, I'd like to make a few contacts with the antenna. And it's this antenna is it's amazing how. I mean, if you look at the base of this thing, look at that truck parked out there beside it, and this tower actually rotates. And I saw it in the specs somewhere. I was looking at the specs, and I think it can rotate in like 1 degree increments, or is it 1 degree per second? I don't remember.
It takes 2.5 minutes to totally rotate the antenna 360 degrees. And when it rotates, well, Angela, you heard it.
Well, yes, it's so quiet. It's so effortless.
Is it really quiet?
I tell you, it is something.
You would think you've got to have a big diesel engine inside that thing running to turn it or something. Man.
You can turn it by hand.
Is that right?
Yes. It's turned by 2 3-horsepower electric motors. That's what.
Oh, man.
It's the balance.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right. All the balance.
That's something. So you built a new studio up here. I guess, is this it right here?
That is the transmitter building. That is the transmitter.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
How much property is up there overall for this endeavor of yours?
The entire site is on 110 acres.
Oh, okay. And what's the footprint on that tower and antennas? I mean, how much space does that actually take up on there?
Well, the antenna is about 200 feet wide.
Okay.
And it's about 260 feet high.
Wow.
And it's self-support.
Right.
So it doesn't have any guy lines. So, and it's right in the middle of an old potato field. And it sits on a block of concrete, 40 feet by 40 feet by 12 feet high.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, hey, Alan, I'm gonna pull your Facebook site up here, and let's see. We'll go through a couple of pictures of the new station. I think you've got pictures on here. Let me make it a little larger. Can you see those okay?
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, and you can talk a little about what we're looking at there. Of course, again, man, you must be up in Greenland or almost to Greenland here or something.
Well, northern Maine is it's a little bit like the end of nowhere, and it's in northern Maine by the Canadian border. So the winters are rough up here. Right. Last winter we had an average of 4 feet of snow on the ground.
Okay.
But construction for the superstation continued, and we plowed on, and we did a lot of. I mean, the snow plow bill was like $10,000 this year.
Oh, I bet.
Well, Alan, I know it must be very tough for you because here in Memphis we get about one snow per year, and it's like 1/8 of an inch, and it is really really bad here. It shuts this place down for like a week.
Yeah, boo-hoo, right?
Yeah, that's what I tell them too.
Yeah. So is this some of the recent new stuff here that's going in?
Yeah. Well, that's a picture of the transmitter under construction. That's the PA cavity being assembled, and on the top you can see part of the 9-inch transmission line. That was during assembly of the transmitter, which had to be brought in sections and assembled on site.
Okay.
And that's the front of the transmitter, which is a Continental Model 420, 500 kilowatt AM shortwave broadcast transmitter.
Are there many other companies that make transmitters that big besides Continental?
Not in the United States anymore. There is RIZ in Poland, and you probably could get the Chinese to build you something. I don't know how dependable it is. But Continental is about it here in the United States, and they make, they're kind of like the Rolls-Royce of transmitters. Yeah.
Hey, does it have like one final tube?
Yes, it has one final tube.
What, do you know what the tube number is?
It's Thales. It's a Thales tube. It's made in France. I think it's a TH576. I stand corrected.
All right. So, and I would imagine that tube costs some bucks. You know, do you have a spare tube?
Well, we have a spare tube on order. The final, the tube is $80,000.
Oh, gee.
And it weighs about 300 pounds, and it's a power tetrode, and it can dissipate about 1,000,000 watts.
Yeah. So what is this we're looking at here?
That's the rotary joint. That's the 9-inch transmission line in the base of the antenna that rotates when the antenna rotates.
Okay, that's good. Now, I noticed, and I've been in several shortwave stations around the country, and it's pretty common to have these steel cages in there. You want to talk a little about why the steel cage is inside this building?
Well, that's the 14,000 volt, 100 amp power supply.
Yeah.
So you really want to protect yourself from that thing, because that thing will turn you into sparks and arcs in a second. So everything is triple safety, and you know, it's very the transmitter is very safety designed. You can't get into anything unless everything is grounded and turned off, and all the grounding sticks and everything are in their proper place.
What's he lifting here?
He is lifting the plate blocker for the PA tube. That's what that picture shows.
Now, what is that?
Well, the plate blocker is the capacitor. That basically connects the plate of the tube to the output section of the transmitter. It passes the RF, but it blocks the 14 kilovolt plate voltage.
Okay, and it's a capacitor. It actually blocks the DC and lets the.
It blocks the DC.
Yeah.
It's a round cylinder that goes over the PA tube.
Well, that's cool. I like the. Looks like those are those motorized capacitors in there. What am I looking at?
The left is a motorized matching coil.
Oh, okay.
Which is all water cooled, by the way.
Okay.
Everything in the transmitter is water cooled. It's like a plumber's nightmare.
Yeah, yeah, I imagine so. So this is just some stages during your construction here.
This is just construction of the transmitter, and that and also construction of the antenna and the transmission line. Those are the photos that you're showing.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what else I've got here real quick. I had, and back to some of your other stuff. This is not the new transmitter. This is probably what, on 7490 or?
That's the number 2 transmitter on 5130.
Oh, okay. All right, very good. All right. And this?
That is the power output tube.
That's the tube right there.
That's
okay.
The tube.
That's the tube, and we're raising it there with the chain. I can see. You don't want to drop that one.
Yes, we are raising it with chain pull.
Yeah.
It weighs about 300 pounds. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, Alan, I mean, it's just amazing. And let me tell you, last week while we were on a show, I asked one of our viewers in Australia to tune in, and he tuned in at 9330, and it was coming in great down there. Now, I know you're going to rotate that antenna, and you're going to have various different lobes or signals in different directions at different times, but you're bound to hear that thing even all directions, I would think.
Well, we pretty much, we pretty much get reports from all points of the globe. I mean, obviously, where the antenna is beamed, we get the best reception, but on the backside and the backside of the array, because there's always a little radiation, it's not a perfect, no antenna is perfect. And we're just amazed because basically whenever we turn it on, we're heard everywhere. And the audio fidelity is extremely high. One of the things that has really surprised us is people throughout the world have commented that the station sounds like FM. And in all my years of shortwave radio, I have never heard anybody, compare shortwave signal to FM radio until now.
Well, I tell you, what's the effective, the ERP that you're in millions of watts, aren't you? Probably a couple million.
Well, yeah, at 9 megahertz, it's close to 20 megawatts.
20 million watts of power.
Yeah,
that's
at
cool.
the full 500,000 into the antenna. Yeah.
Wait, he's just pulling it up over there. He says we're 40 over here.
That what 40 over where?
In Wyoming.
Oh, really? 40 over in Wyoming. Wow. And they're not even running high power yet. They're only.
No, we're not to full power yet. We will be in a day or so. We're not to full power yet.
Well, I saw a picture of Angela with a hard hat on climbing that antenna out there, I think. Did she do much work on it?
Let me tell you.
Well, here and there, yeah.
My beloved wife is probably the greatest inspiration that I've ever had for building the world's biggest free speech radio station, because she's a radio person. And she's, free speech is alive on WBCQ. You bet.
You're right.
You gotta have a good partner. Gotta have a good partner.
Yeah, and climbing inside is even more fun.
Yeah, climbing inside the antenna is actually more fun than climbing outside the antenna.
You should see what it looks like in there.
Because the inside of the antenna has all this great stuff. It's like Frankenstein's laboratory. Insulators and high voltage this and tuning
and all those fingers,
all these fingers, all
amazing.
these big tuning coils and everything. Yeah, the inside of the antenna is really.
It's just amazing now to see this stuff, and I mean, I could feature this thing. How many tons did you say it weighed, the antenna?
It's 200 tons.
All right, 200 tons of steel. I could just feature myself going in the door there, and sing a little bitty phonograph motor. Like it goes in a phonograph. The old 33, 45, and that little motor turning this thing,
Well,
or your hand if you really wanted to.
Yeah, you can turn it by hand.
Wow, man.
You can spin the brake discs, and the construction crew would move the antenna. The antenna is balanced like a fine watch. It is. It's balanced very dynamically, and it is an amazing. It is a wonder of the world. This particular antenna, this is the only one in North America.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's quite a work of art. But more importantly, we're finding is it's exceeding our expectations on performance. It's just because as you know, especially you folks in the ham radio world, without a good antenna, you got nothing.
Well, that's right. We've got one complaint in the chat room. I think he's in Arkansas, I think, and he said his AGC circuit is smoking. It just peaked to 60 over. So, turn your attenuator on. Do something. Wow.
So do you guys live on the do you have a house there? So everything's all, or do you live further away and you have to drive in every day, or?
Yeah, we live down the road. We live
okay.
down the road.
I figured if you had that much acreage, chances are you probably built yourself a house there too.
Yeah, well, the BCQ complex is because the superstation is technically transmitter number 6.
Okay.
WBCQ. So the whole BCQ complex is on about 200 acres.
Oh, okay.
And we have a home kind of down the road, across the street from everything, which is good. And by the way, because we get a lot of questions on this from radio people, the field strength here from the super is very minimal. In other words, the RF, local RF, is actually less than some of our other transmitters because the antenna is really like a radio searchlight, and it's pointed up, so many degrees, and it's all the radio energy that goes into it just goes out right up to the ionosphere. So locally, there's no interference, there's no RF, there's no problems, and it's wonderful. And for those of you that are radio engineers, you understand that when you have a good match and your antenna is sending its signal where it's supposed to be, locally, there isn't much. There isn't much signal, which is great.
And the birds are okay. Because they pick bugs off it.
Wow.
That's right.
I would think when you go in, the hair would stand up on your arms,
No, the antenna does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, it's doing a good job. Hey, Alan, I'm so honored that our show is on 9330 tonight, and while I got the big mouth here, I want to let everybody out there to know you're watching amateur radio, or you're listening to Amateur Radio Roundtable, and you can go to w5kub.com every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, and you can join our show. And for all you guys international, we have to do an international now. That's 0100 UTC on Wednesdays. 0100 UTC Wednesdays. Join us on w5kub.com. And hey, join our Facebook group, W5KUB. Now, Katie, if you got anything you'd like to plug while we're on this, I don't know what to call it.
Superstation.
That's it. Good name, Superstation. You want to plug anything, Katie?
No, I would just plug the show and say thank you to everybody who is listening on WBCQ. This is really exciting to not only be on the show here, but now to know that people are listening on the radios all over the place, and really exciting. And I'll be looking forward to coming down to the shack and tuning in to see what's on. And it's, knowing that we've lost some shortwave stations around the world and over the past couple of years, it's really exciting that you guys are doing this and putting it out there. I'm really looking forward to it. So congratulations and thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We believe in shortwave radio, and I'll tell you, since we've been testing the superstation, it has been very encouraging because, thousands of people have been just emerging out of the woodwork and reporting the station all over the world. So shortwave is very, very much
alive.
Is very much alive.
Sure is.
So, Alan, just a couple quick questions. Do you know right now which way the antenna is actually aimed?
Yes, the antenna from northern Maine is beamed at a 270-degree true heading.
So what's that, Mexico City?
That's kind of pointed towards like Mexico and Central America and areas like that.
Okay. And a lot of other people in the chat room, they're really wondering about Lord Robert. When we first came on your station 4 years ago, I can't believe we've been on with you guys 4 years now, weekly. But they got to know Lord Robert. He was in the chat room, but you guys are getting so busy now, he doesn't have time to get on here. But everybody's saying hello to Lord Robert.
Yeah, well, Lord Robert has been working on the great antenna and has been working on site and grounding, and he's been a very, very, very busy man working at the world's, great superstation.
Oh, yeah. Question, they want to know if you send out QSL cards. Do you want to get a bunch of requests tonight?
Yeah, the QSL cards have been coming in, and in my spare time, which basically is non-existent, I do answer QSL cards. But boy, I really ask people to send, self-addressed stamped envelopes and all that. And we're actually going to be printing up some new QSL cards. So for the first time in 20 years, so we'll be issuing new QSL cards.
Well, great. Alan, we've probably taken enough of you and Angela's time tonight. I could talk to you for hours. I mean,
I bet you could.
Well, listen, we love to talk radio. Radio is a wonderful art, and it's a beautiful thing that brings people together worldwide. Ham radio, broadcast radio, it's all in that same thing, and it's a very one-to-one connection. It's real time. One transmitter serving potentially billions of people, and it's a great responsibility, but it's a heck of a lot of fun. But it is a wonderful thing that brings people closer together and enriches the life of the listeners. And we try to promote free speech and understanding and love and peace and everything here. And that's what we've been doing now for 20 years, and we're going to continue to do it forever.
And you know what? You know what? And don't in these modern days, don't go out and try to put a pirate station on. You've got much better options. You got much better options today. Contact Alan or contact Angela, and they'll put you on, man. They'll put you on.
We still lease time. We still lease time on the classic. We call it the classic BCQs now, which are still in full operation. And we lease time. We lease time to a lot of people that were pirate radio operators in the past, because you can buy time on our transmitters and get on the air legally, because WBCQ is the world's only licensed pirate.
Yeah, licensed pirate station. There you go. And I don't know how you do the free speech thing. I know it's free speech. Does and I'm sorry I keep making this thing go a little longer, but does the FCC not have any issues with the real free speech?
Not with us. No, we're an international station, and we adhere to the First Amendment of the Constitution of this great republic. And that has always, we put people on the air, and they are free to play and say whatever they want, because free speech is a double circuit. It's not only the freedom to speak, it is the freedom to listen. And many people on Earth do not have that freedom, which is one of the reasons why we're broadcasting with 500,000 watts, because we know there's going to be a lot of people listening in basements and in areas where it is not permitted to listen, and it is not easy to set up a radio or put out an outside antenna, and that is why the superpower, so we can reach those ears that need to be reached.
Alan, thank you so much. Even though we didn't get to see you and Angela tonight, I think it worked out well. People heard you describe a lot of the pictures and the things, and I think it was a great segment tonight. Thank you and Angela very much for coming on the show.
By the way, Tom, thank you for all, and you too, Katie, thank you for all that you folks do to promote ham radio and radio in general, because it is a wonderful art and science that gets through when all the digital stuff breaks down.
That's right. When all else fails,
turn on the battery-powered radio or hook up a transmitter to a car battery, and away you go.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Angela. Try to get some rest. The station sounds wonderful. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Great.
All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. I think it went well. All right. So this is about when I thought we would finish this. I want to get our next couple of guests on here. It'll take me just a second. We're going to get Bill on here and Jim on here to talk about the Jamboree, the Scout Jamboree. So We'll be back in just a second, guys. So stand by, and we'll be back. Heard it, worked it, logged it. It's time to get the transceiver that's best suited for your lifestyle. ICOM offers a variety of high-performance and innovative products. The IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest of signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. It's a direct sampling software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. It has RF direct sampling, an independent dual receiver, and dual digit select. The IC7300 is changing the way entry-level HF is designed. This high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design will far exceed your expectations. It has RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a large color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and an SD memory card slot. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios. Heard it, worked it, logged it. It's time to get the transceiver that's best suited for your lifestyle. ICOM offers a variety of high-performance and innovative products. The IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest of signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. It's a direct sampling software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. It has RF direct sampling, an independent dual receiver, and dual digit select. The IC7300 is changing the way entry-level HF is designed. This high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design will far exceed your expectations. It has RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a large color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and an SD memory card slot. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios. Heard it, worked it, logged it. It's time to get the transceiver that's best suited for your lifestyle.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. From QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable and remote, an LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using our lightning-fast proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated company dedicated to bringing innovative, quality products to the amateur market. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable. Support is only a phone call or email away. We're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
All right, so we're making some progress here. We've got Bill on, and I need to get Jim. Okay, where's Jim?
Oh, good. Excuse me.
Well, are you sleepy, Katie?
Keeping her up late.
Oh, it's only 8 o'clock.
F, G, okay, let's look for James. Oh boy.
I can add him to the call, I think.
Can you add him to it? Okay, if you can add him, that'd be great. We'll see if that works. I just tried to add Dave on here too, but see if you can add him, Bill.
I just did, I think. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, there you go. Add. We'll see if that worked. Love modern technology here.
It's been a bad night tonight here. I see. There he is. There he is. He made it. He made it. Let's try to add one more person here. Let's try to see if Dave is still around. I don't know if Dave is still around or not. Couldn't get him on earlier.
Cool background.
My Skype just does not want to it won't let me add anybody. Okay. So, okay. Well, we've got the people on here that count. We have got Bill and Jim on here, right? Hey guys,
right.
How you doing? How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having us on the show.
Good. Oh man, already getting comments about how good Bill always looks in his uniform there, man. Look at that. Oh man. All right. Well, hey, I don't know if you guys saw much of the previous segment there, but that's kind of interesting, that new superstation.
It's
fantastic, and that's what we wish we had at the World Jamboree.
Yeah,
I bet.
Well, you can do most everything by the internet now. You can put your own radio station on the internet without spending those big bucks. So, you guys, why don't you do that this year?
We can do. We are doing some of that. Of course, we're doing promotion with the social media, and we've got D-Star and Echolink, so we'll be there.
All right, very good. Well, look, hey guys, I thought it could run this late, but we still have plenty of time to talk about this. You guys are in prime time right now. It's 9 p.m. Central, so we got a lot of people out here wanting to hear about what's going to happen at this jamboree. Who wants to start on that, man? How you guys divide that up?
I can start with an overview.
Okay. Go right ahead.
So, all right. Okay, this is the 24th World Scout Jamboree. It's essentially owned by the World Organization of the Scout Movement. It happens every 4 years in a different host country. So this time it's a North American team consisting of the Boy Scouts of America, Scouts Canada, and Scouts of Mexico. It's being held at the Summit Bechtel Scout Reserve in West Virginia. Now the good news about that is we have run our ham radio operation at the National Scout Jamboree in 2013 and 2017 in exactly the same place. So we have some infrastructure. For example, ICOM America has 3 repeaters installed on the site. They installed those in 2012. And so we're fabulously set up there. We've got 3 telephone poles to hang our antennas on, and we're towing in a couple of trailers actually, with towers on them. But we're expecting 50,000 scouts from over 160 countries. And there's all kinds of activities for them on the site. There's 5 different zip lines. I think one of them is over 3/4 of a mile long. There's rock climbing, bouldering, there's mountain biking, there's a world-class skate park, shooting sports. During the National Jamboree, it was pretty much everything from a 50 caliber machine gun to a 22. There's archery, there's trap shooting, there's swimming, scuba diving, you name it, they got it. It's pretty amazing. It's happening in just a few weeks. The official start is July 22nd and it runs through August 1st. We'll be starting our setup on July 18th. So Bill and I will be, I'm not sure we'll be climbing towers, but we have some people there that will be doing that, getting the antennas up, unpacking the radios that ICOM has shipped in for us, the whole 9 yards. The call sign this time now typically for our national jamborees, we do K2BSA. But this is a world jamboree, so we wanted to do it differently. But of course, since it's in the U.S., we need to follow the U.S. Call sign process. So we managed to acquire the call sign NA1WJ, and basically standing for North America. They're the team's first World Jamboree, not the first one in North America, but this is the first one hosted by a North American team. And our entire objective, introducing the science, technology, the fun, and the magic of amateur radio to scouts, and will serve as the voice of the amateur radio for the Jamboree. And Bill, you take us through the details of our station and.
Yeah. So as Jim mentioned, the station is going to be equipped with 10. We are going to have 10 stations set up, or 10 working areas set up with 6 of the IC 7300s from ICOM America. They're going to send us 2 9700s from them as well, and 2 ID 5100As. So we're going to have the 5100s. We'll have one on D-Star all the time. The other one will be on VHF or UHF, and possibly Echolink as well. As Jim mentioned, we bring in a couple of tower trailers. The one tower trailer is going to have the satellite set up on, so we can work the linear birds and also the FM birds. We have a loaner tower trailer from Illuma Tower that we're putting on some new antennas that we got this year from a new sponsor that had joined us, the BSA. JK Antennas, they're donating 3 antennas to the program, and they hooked us up with this loaner tower trailer so we can get those really high up in the air. And of course, we have all the gear from the previous national jamborees, from MFJ Enterprises. We have headphones, coax, and Morse code, CW gears, and a bunch of other gear. From DX Engineering, we still have some hex beams. We've got some verticals. We've got some wire antennas. So the sponsors continue to help us bring this forward. Another item that we got this year, we have. Geochron has provided us one of their brand new 4K Geochron display
clock
boxes to go on a screen up in the front to kind of show that off to all the visitors that we get at the station. So we're gonna have a lot of activity there, and it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help of everyone, including the volunteers that actually show up to put all this stuff together and make it happen. So that's pretty much this station. We're going to try to get most of the antennas and everything up, like Jim said, by the 18th, hopefully. It's always fun trying to get all that stuff together, but we got a good team kind of showing up early, and we're going to put that all together and get that running. Also at the site, we're not just doing the demonstration station. We're having an 8RDF, Amateur Radio Direction Finding Team, is going to be over in our, is that the orienteering section, Jim? I can't remember what they call that.
Yeah, it is. There's a section at the Jamboree. I mentioned these activities that are going on there, but they're doing geocaching, orienteering, and then they're also doing ARDF, fox hunting. And I just talked to the guy that's managing that area, and they're going to plan one of the ARDF routes that ends up at the station as well. But we're doing fox hunting. This is something that I like a lot as well. We're doing fox hunting, both 2 meters and 80 meter fox hunting. So they'll get a lot of fun out of that. That's always a blast for the scouts. It's perfect connection, amateur radio and scouting in the outdoors, finding hidden transmitters.
Yeah, in addition to that, we're going to have 3 balloon launches with the little Pico APRS units on it. They'll all be tagged with the NA1WJ call sign, so you'll be able to track those on APRS FI or whatever you're using to track APRS stuff and plot it on a map. We'll be launching one at the beginning of the Jamboree, early on before the kids show up, so we can get that up and start tracking that. And then we'll probably launch 2 more while the kids are on the ground. What else we got going on? Operations. So generally our operations are going to be from 8:30 in the morning. This will be Eastern time until about 5 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be on every band that we can have open. We'll have everything from 80 meters, obviously through satellite and all the digital modes. We'll be operating during the day. We'll be operating single sideband mainly, some JT or FD8 on digital side. In the evenings, so this is a little different. This year, this time, we always say this year, but this time we're actually gonna have nighttime operations. So we're gonna keep the station open at night. We'll go ahead and run people that are interested in just contacting the NA1WJ during the evening time. We'll go ahead and do that. So we're gonna try to run the station probably about 18 hours total per day. So we'll be probably off, from like about midnight or so until the morning. But during the day, we're going to need obviously a lot of contacts, a lot of local contacts. Jim has mentioned previously that the sun is not our friend right now. So we need people far and near to the station to get on HF and these other modes and give these scouts some meaningful contacts. And if you got time to spend and work through a bunch of scouts and talk to them all about amateur radio and answer questions, that's what we're really, really looking for. in this. Jim, why don't you talk about the other big event that's going to go on there that we're still trying to get nailed down perfectly?
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a contact with the International Space Station. So we're pumped up about that. In most of the previous national jamborees, we've had an International Space Station contact. The last World Scout Jamboree was in Japan, and they had an International Space Station contact there. And catch this, it's hard to even imagine, but the sun and the darkness were at the right point. They could actually see the International Space Station, physically see it when they were making that contact. Well, this time we're not so lucky. The orbits just don't line up to catch West Virginia at the times that the program is going on. As Bill mentioned, it's like 8 to 5. That's when the scouts are engaged in the program. And unfortunately, too, the astronauts sleep sometime. Who would have figured? But their sleep time starts like at about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. But it's going to be what they call a telebridge contact, and the downlink station. Well, right now we're working to absolutely finalize the date and the time, but it could be a Belgian station, Italian station, or an Australian station that will be our downlink. And we're reasonably confident that the astronaut that will be talking to us is Andrew Morgan. And Andrew happens to be an assistant scoutmaster in the Houston area. So we think he think that's pretty cool. So that's one of our big highlights, and we'll be publishing the date and the time for that, and we'll be doing Facebook Live videos and all that of our balloon launches, of general operations, and of course the International Space Station contact. One of the things I want to touch on too is that it's a World Scout Jamboree, so our staff are from around the world as well. We did have to, we have 12 staff members that are from the US. Those people are designated as control operators primarily for the station, but we have a total of 33, and they come from Australia, Brazil, Canada, Chile, Finland, Germany, Japan, Liechtenstein, Malaysia, Nepal, Netherlands, Norway, the United Kingdom, Taiwan, and Zimbabwe. So it's quite a group. And then we've also worked up, we have some scripts for introducing amateur radio to the scouts, some cue signals and things like that about how to make that contact. So we've got those laminated sheets that they can work from, but we've got them translated also into several different languages so that the scouts can see what's going on, and they can figure out what the right protocol is while they're on the air. So and I'll also mention we've sometimes when the other stations are contacting us, they're a little bit challenged about what questions to ask the scouts. And then they'll also find the scouts are not always eager to talk on the microphone. They get a bit of mic fright. We've published some questions on our website to help prompt what that side of the conversation needs to be. So we've wrestled with this about 20 ways, and we think we've got it sorted out. And then and Bill, take us through all the social media and how people can figure out what frequencies we're on and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, our website, the k2bsa.net, we have a URL specifically for this. It'll be /jamboree-live. You can find all the frequencies that will be operating. We'll keep that updated with anything that changes. We're going to also have our Facebook page, like Jim mentioned, our Facebook Live. We'll probably do the videos there. We're going to do, bad boy, keeping my phone on. There we go. Put it on mute. Anyway, yeah, so we'll have our Twitter handles for this event. We have the @K2BSA_scouting, and we also have an @NA1WJ_scouting. We'll also have an Instagram account that's just @NA1WJ. And also for people that just like doing emails and want to get involved in how they can help and contact the station and whatnot, we also have a Groups.io group set up. It's Groups.io/G/NA1WJ. And we have a lot of activity going on right now in there. People telling everybody about, I'm going to be on the air from Mexico, and this is my band, what I have, operating on my station. These are the hours I'll be operating. So we're trying to get people on the air at certain times, and if we can reach them, we'll point the beam that way. We're going to try to get the logs automatically pushed into Club Log while we're there, so you can also track us there. We're going to be doing QSLs. Jim, you want to talk real quick about the QSLs?
Yeah, we're going to be using N1MM as our logging program, and we're hoping to upload those QSOs, if not in real time, at least daily. Upload them to Club Log, upload them to, and that will connect them to Logbook of the World as well for confirmations. The logbook's published on our website as well, so if people are concerned, gee, did I get in the log like you do with the DXpedition, they can go there, type in their call sign, and figure that out. It also it's set up for an online QSL request service. That's primarily for the people overseas that they, for a few dollars, they can request their QSL card, and we'll send that out to them afterwards. And we have a QSL manager that's on our staff. We'll be handling all that stuff. But yeah, and I'll mention too, there's a number of stations around the world that are eager to make contacts with us. Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico. We've got some guys that are out there every summer. They're set up as either K5PSR for Philmont Scout Ranch or K5K. They'll be on the air trying to make contact with us, or they will make contact with us one way or another. There's also Gilwell Park, and if you're not familiar with scouting, that name might sound strange. It's the place where scouting was founded in Great Britain by Lord Baden-Powell in about 1907. And there's a big amateur radio station there. It's also there for that, either that facility or whatever. It's their 100th anniversary. So they're on the air, GP 100, GP or something like that. They're going to make, they're going to try for QSOs with us. There's some people in a scout camp in Scotland that's lined up with us. There's a Jamboree that's being held in the Netherlands. So a lot of scouting interest around the world. And we also we would appreciate anybody being on the other end of that QSO to help us demonstrate amateur radio to scouts. That's my pitch.
How many, you may have mentioned it at the beginning, I don't remember. How many scouts will actually be there?
We're thinking it's 50,000 scouts from 160 countries.
Man, 50,000. Gee.
Yeah, now a typical national jamboree, it'll be between 30 and 40,000. That was 2013, 2017. So it's, they're kind of used to this.
I see a little problem there. How do you feed that many people?
Oh my gosh, we didn't think about that.
Oh man, 50,000.
No, I'll tell you, we have, I think it's about 8,000 or 9,000 people who are on staff. And a significant chunk of those people are in the food services area. Now for us folks that are, for those 9,000 that are on staff, we actually have a dining hall that we go to. We go in the morning and we get a pretty good breakfast, and we pick up a lunch and we go off to work. And it's one of those things, going to work, it's just like was going back to school back in the day, uphill both ways.
Yeah,
now, it's not
uphill both ways.
But
Well, I originally thought that maybe this was a new badge you earned, and maybe the Eagle does. They have to go out and kill their own food and cook it, you know.
Well, now the Scouts, they have camps, base camps A, B, C, and D, and F. We're in base camp E. I'm not sure what happened. And so they actually prepare their own meals. Now, they don't have to go out and hunt animals. We get in trouble with a few people if we did that. But not to mention the animals.
And you can't do anything nowadays, can you?
No,
that's right. That's right. But they actually prepare their own meals. All the food is ready for them there. They bring wagons, load up their food from the main area where it's refrigerated and all that stuff, take it back to their particular camp for their contingent from wherever they're from, and set up. Now, also mentioned, there are, I haven't experienced this yet because we don't do this at the National Jamboree, but there are some contingents that are setting up special food courts that you can experience their country's food. And I'm not 100% sure who all is doing that yet, but I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun. But you're right, it's a huge logistical challenge, not only to feed everybody, but think of the water, just to provide water for all those people. They actually pump water to some tanks up on a hill about 6 months before the Jamboree. It takes them that long to load up these tanks and be ready to provide all the water that's necessary for 50,000 people.
I hope you have good weather. Didn't it rain some on you last year, Bill? I'm trying to think.
No, we had a little bit. It wasn't quite as bad as it had been in the past.
Oh, okay.
You know, it is West Virginia in the summer, and you know, it can get interesting.
How many hams do you guys have as far as your committee at your level that are organizing it and kind of keeping the show running? I mean, how many people do you need on your team to make this actually happen?
We asked for 40 staff members. That's pretty much what we had at the National Jamboree. We ended up with 33. Just based on the challenges around recruiting people at a distance. Although the good news there is ham radio is universal, and Jamboree on the Air happens every year. It's been going on for 60 some years. So there's contact points, and you reach out and you make contact with everybody. And so we got all the people that we knew about out there to sign up. And there's our demonstration station manager is Remco Welling, PE1MEW from the Netherlands, Gary Wilson, K2GW, and Bill Bode, I think it's N4WEB. There are assistant station managers, Mike Cullen, I think it's K1NPT. He's managing our amateur radio direction finding efforts. Mike Crownover, AD5A, he is our technical team leader. So he's been around. He's actually, I would imagine he's in his driveway right now in the Austin, Texas area, assembling antennas, getting them ready to load up and bring out to the place, and then we go into overdrive. Finding everything, assembling stuff, timing it so the bucket truck is there at the right time and we're ready. So yeah, it's a lot of people. I want to mention too, Eileen Ahrens manages our front desk.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I got KD9 NKX, I think. She just got her technician license about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, no kidding.
She's been working on that, but she manages our front desk, a couple of other people on that staff, but they're the faces that greet the Scouts. Hey, come on in here, check this out. And they go, hey, what's going on in here? What's these antennas? All that sort of jazz. She's the one that tells them, gets them into line, gets them in front of the radios. Does a really fabulous job for us.
Oh, that sounds great. Wow.
Well, we've enjoyed hearing this again, and each year it's a great event. I was close a year or two ago. I was close to it. I was over in North Carolina, Bill, and I thought about driving up there to see you guys, but it's still a good little drive from North Carolina.
Yeah, well, this is the World Jamboree. It happens every 4 years, and it'll happen all over the world. So it happens, they move it every 4 years. It goes somewhere else. Of course, with the National Jamborees, which what happened 2 years ago, happens again every 4 years. So in 2 more years, we'll be there doing it again for the National Jamboree. So, yeah.
All right, and what are the dates again, so we can be watching for this?
July 22nd to August 1st.
Okay, it's coming up real soon. We'll try to keep up with you guys and work you.
Absolutely,
that'd be great.
Find you on all of your the main website again for everybody, so they can find all the other places to follow you, like on.
Yeah, easy way is just go to the k2bsa.net website. You can also go to na1wj.net. We have both domains, so they both go to the same place, and just hit the Jamboree links, and it'll give you all the information you need there.
Perfect. That's great. Wow, what an undertaking you guys go through. It's this is not my first time hearing this, but it always blows me away every time I hear you talk about everything that's involved, and it's amazing, and I love seeing the photos as it's happening, and I think it's such a great opportunity for the young scouts to have, not obviously just the ham radio component, but all of the things that they're exposed to is just fantastic, and really so wonderful that you guys do this as well and share it with everybody. And I think hopefully it'll inspire some other people to get involved and do something in their community too. So yay.
Yes.
Very cool.
It is pretty neat when you remind me too about there's some scouts who come in and get kind of excited. The other scouts come in and go, oh, well, that's interesting, and drift on. But I call it planting seeds. You just never know when it's going to grow. And then there's also those scouts that you see them every day. They come by and you can't get rid of them. You don't want to. They're coming in and working the station. Or, last time we launched some Pico balloons, and they got some of them got really excited about that. They're checking back each day, looking at, well, where's the balloon? Where's that track going? So yeah, they do. Some of them, their hair catches on fire, and they're very enthusiastic. And a lot of others, at least, they've got just a little seed planted, and who knows when it will take root.
Well, there's so many things going on. I'm sure it's just information overload for these youngsters, and all of the things they're doing, and just sucking it all in. And so, but like you said, if you can get that seed planted when they get home and settle back in and be like, hey, that ham radio stuff was pretty cool,
All right, guys, it's about time for me to go get some dinner, maybe a peanut butter sandwich or something. I don't know if you guys have eaten yet. It's early out west, isn't it? Look here. Katie, it's not even supper time for Katie yet.
Well, it's 8:30. It's like, it's beer 30 here now.
Oh, wow. All right, we're going to go ahead and probably close the show. Thank you guys so much for coming on and talking to us about this.
Thank you so
keep us posted. And Bill, anytime you get an update or anything, let us know. We'll get you on here, okay? You too, Jim.
Very good. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
And before we go, let me just mention one thing here. Bill and Jim were talking about the Pico balloons they launched. Down Bill Brown and the field day down at Huntsville launched one last week, and it went out over the ocean there off of North Carolina there, and of course it became nighttime and no tracking, and 6 or 7 days went by. We thought surely it's down. 6 or 7 days went by, and it showed up today just crossing Puerto Rico. It's then turned west now. It's gone past Dominican Republic, and it's heading toward Cancun. So it's back on the radar. So we're going to be following this a little bit and see how they do. But it's exciting. We made several attempts to get one around the world. Our first attempt was our best. It made it all the way around through China and Japan, but we hit a storm on the other side of Japan and we lost it. So we had a little service for it. You guys probably saw it, but we have so much fun. We have so much fun with the with these Pico balloons, and we hope that our next one is going to be. We're working with Bill to do a super duper one. It's going to be the sushi wrap. I'm trying to find some sushi somewhere so I can get the wrap off of it. It's going to have hydrogen, and it's going to be whispers, so we'll get good tracking all around the world with it. No, none of these little blank spots. So we're shooting for the big one this time. And I told Bill, I said, we make it around the world, Bill. I'm bringing you into Memphis, and we're going to have hot dogs, baked beans, all the trimmings, man.
Well, you're really splurging for him, aren't you?
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to say good night and good night to everybody else. And let's see, Katie, I'll let you say good night to everybody. And we enjoyed having you on tonight. Great job again.
Thank you.
And
it's been fun. Thanks everybody for tuning in and watching and hanging out with us. It's been a lot of fun. And it's a good time to leave because I've been watching. I got a nice storm rolling in, so I'm taking off.
All right, very good. I've been hearing a little thunder myself. All right, good night, Katie. I'll say good night to everybody, and we enjoyed it again tonight. After a few technical problems, the first 10 minutes, we got things under control, I think, and it kind of worked. I tried to bring Dave in a little later into the show, but there was no answer, so not sure what happened there. Anyway, thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Don't forget our 40-meter net next week is at 5:30 p.m. Central Time on 7180. That's our net. And our show is every Tuesday night. And also, if you're out there listening on shortwave, right? We're on 5130 right now, I believe. I think they've turned 9330 off, but we're still on 5130. Send us an email to tom@w5kub.com. tom@w5kub.com. Tell us where you are. Give us a signal report. And we'll see you guys later. I'll say good night to you guys.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer goes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
All right, guys, we're going to have to shut down. We've got a storm in the area, getting a lot of surges on the power lines, I think, and I'm starting to smell a little smoke. We better get out of here. See you next week.